So you're actually hustling backwards if you're investing this way. You're hustling backwards. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Reni. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. On this channel, I make content around financial literacy, career development, and lifestyle. So if any of those are topics that interest you, feel free to hit that subscribe button. And whether you are new or returning, please hit that like button as it really does help my channel grow. So on today's video, as you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about 6 things you need to do before you start investing. I have a lot of videos on my channel about investing and how to invest and all these different things. And in my early videos, I mentioned the importance of investing and what you should do before investing, but I feel like I need a whole video dedicated to it just because I don't want anyone to go into investing just because they saw one of my videos and like, oh, I should start. I want you to make sure you do these 6 things before you ever start investing because they are crucial and they will really help you on your journey. Just as a preface, I am not a financial advisor. I'm just someone who's very enthusiastic about finance, and I like to share what I've learned with all of you. So let's get into the video. The first thing that you need to do before you start investing is to have a budget. I don't have any videos on budgeting yet, but they're coming soon. And what a budget basically is a tracker of how much is coming into your account each month and how much is coming out of your account each month. I really think this is the basics of financial literacy. Like, this is where I started when I started my financial literacy journey. I started with budgeting and seeing basically how much was coming into my account every month and how much was going out. When I started budgeting, I realized a lot more was going out of my account than was coming in, and not like going towards good things. They were going towards things that I didn't really need to be spending money on. So the importance of budgeting is it allows you to see what you're actually spending money on. And sometimes you're like, damn, I'm doing the wrong thing with my money. Have you ever been in that situation where at the end of the month, you're like, where did all my money go? Budgeting can help you with that. So to start budgeting, I would say start off, you can use a paid budget tracker or you can use a free one. There are lots of free ones available if you like doing manual ones. So there's Excel, they have budgeting templates, so you can basically customize to whatever you want. Google Sheets also has the same thing. Then we also have some apps like Mint or Every Dollar. And those are different apps that can do it automatically and see what you basically connect your bank account to them and then it automatically shows you where you're spending money. So those are really helpful. And the reason that I recommend budgeting again is to see what's going in and what's coming out, but also to see where you can allocate some money to investing before you even start. Do you have money to invest? My suggestion is to do the 50-30-20 rule, which is 50% of your money is spent on your needs. So like shelter, food needs. Then you have 30% that's spent on your wants. So, enjoyment, those sort of stuff, entertainment. And then the last 20% is for your savings or your investments. This is a method that I would say this is the baseline. So try to save 10% of your income and try to invest 10% of your income. If you're a Christian, tie 10% of your income as well. But this is the way that I would structure my budget if you are a beginner. You could also use a zero-based budget, which is basically like every dollar that comes into your account has a certain job and you are going to allocate it to a certain place. I will do a whole video on budgeting if you want to see it. So if you want to see it, just leave it down below and then I'll get that done for you. The second thing that I think you should do before you start investing is to pay off your high interest debt. I cannot express how important this step is. This maybe should be even number 1. Before you start investing in the stock market, pay off your high interest debt. I am not talking about debt where you have student loans and maybe they're 3% or 2%, or maybe you have a car loan, which is 1%, 2%, whatever your car loan is. I'm talking about high interest debt, the type of debt that is crushing, the type of debt that is a lot. I have a video with my dad that I'll link up here and he explains why you should pay off your high interest debt and the immediate gain you get by paying high interest debt. So you can watch it if you want. But I'm talking about debt like credit card debt. The average credit card in Canada has an interest rate of 19.99%. That is a lot of money to be charged in interest, and it's compounding. So it's just getting larger and larger and larger. The reason that I say pay off high interest debt before you start investing is because the amount of interest that you're paying on your debt is usually more than the gains that you're going to get in the stock market. So you're actually hustling backwards if you're investing this way. You're hustling backwards, unfortunately. So just to illustrate this, if I have $100 that I have in credit card debt and they're charging me a 19.99% interest rate, after interest, I'm going to pay $119, okay? So I'm paying $119 to the credit card company. On the other hand, if I have that same $100 and instead I invest it in the stock market, say you get a 10% gain, which is like the average gains that someone could get. 10%, so that would be $110 that you're gaining. So your debt has increased to $119, but your investments have only increased to $110. So you're literally hustling backwards. You need to do the opposite. Pay off that debt. And once you pay off that debt, then you start investing. If you found some magical investment that can somehow make you a 25%, 26%, 30% gain year over year, then sure, make that money and then pay off that debt. But for the majority of cases, I would say do not do that. Pay off your high interest debts and then start investing. The third thing that I would say, and I say this all the time, is to set up an emergency fund before you start investing. This is so important. What this means is saving 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in a bank account. And it is a fund that you do not touch at all. It's only for emergency sake. So this is not a savings account or a checking account. This is your emergency fund. I have a whole video on this and I detail where I think you should keep your emergency fund and what the purpose of an emergency fund is. So you can watch that if you want. But as I said, it's essentially a fund that you're keeping and you're not allowed to touch it except for emergencies. The reason that I suggest opening this type of fund before you start investing is because say, God forbid, you lose your job suddenly and you're not able to get a job. You don't want to have to tap into your investments in order to live your life. That's what your emergency fund is there for. Or say your house gets flooded. You don't want to have to tap into your investments in order to pay for this disaster that has happened. The reason that you don't want to do this is because investing is not guaranteed. The market could go up one day and it could go down the next. And you don't want to have to pull out your investments when they are down just because, you need it for an emergency. So again, do not invest before you have your fully funded emergency fund. Let me know, do you have an emergency fund? Let me know in the comment section. The fourth thing that I suggest that you do before you start investing is to invest in yourself. I know this may sound cliche, but I don't really hear people talking about this. Before you start putting money in these random companies and you're like, okay, let me fund this company, let me become a part investor in all these companies. Before you do all that, slow down. Invest in yourself and invest in acquiring financial knowledge. So I want you to expand your knowledge on a variety of financial topics. You can do this through blogs. You can do this through, and I have a blog, so you can check that out. I'll leave it below. You can do it through YouTube videos. Obviously, check out my channel, or I have a video that links a bunch of other YouTubers that I suggest watching as well. You can do this through listening to podcasts. One of my favorites is the Clever Girls Know podcast. And also read books. If you want me to do a video on my favorite personal finance books, just let me know and I will make sure to get that done for you. But the reason that I say this is if you're not willing to spend $20 or $30 in order to buy a book to learn more and improve your knowledge about financial literacy, you're never going to start investing, or you're never going to invest in a meaningful way. So invest in yourself, acquire knowledge. And one thing to note is personal finance is exactly what I just said. It's personal. It is very unique. So when you are reading this information from a variety of authors, I want you to take everything with a grain of salt, okay? You do not believe everything that everyone says, even everything that I say. This is based on my own personal experience. So you should not believe everything that I say. You should look at a variety of authors, a variety of content creators, a variety of publishers, and then make your decision based on that, okay? And the smarter that you become about finance and the more knowledge, you will be able to discern from what is right and what is wrong when you are listening to these people. And then you'll be able to make more sound investment decisions. I used to invest in things that didn't make me much money. It was like very slow growth. But now that I understand more and I'm acquiring more knowledge, I have changed my investing approach and my investing strategy. So that's one thing you need to do. The fifth thing that I want you to do before you start investing is to understand your risk tolerance. Again, as I said before, there are risks with investing. Investing is not 100% safe. So to get around this, you need to understand what your risk tolerance is. Are you someone who is very risk averse? Do you love risk? Do you hate risk? Do you want something very moderate risk? There are levels to this. There are things like cryptocurrency, which is very volatile, quite risky. A lot of people don't have the risk appetite for that. Where there are investments like GICs, which I don't even really consider investments, but those are virtually like risk-free investments. So, they're not completely risk-free, but they're like it's almost risk-free investments. So you need to know what you are comfortable investing in. I have I would say I have a higher risk tolerance than I did before. I don't like to lose money, but I have a definitely higher risk tolerance than many people. So I invest in cryptocurrency, but I also invest in the stock market where I know, and I invest in solid companies in the stock market. So, there's levels to this, and I need you to understand what your level is. And just thinking about your risk tolerance now, it does not mean that it will not change over time. You can change your risk tolerance as you grow up. So some people, when they are young and, they have for 50 years to retirement, they can invest in whatever they want because it's not something, they have a long time to work with their money and make their money grow long term. But if you are someone who maybe now you have a family and you have lots of responsibilities, maybe you want to be a little bit lower risk or more conservative in your investing. So understand your risk tolerance before you start investing. And the last thing that I would suggest before you start investing is to get a plan for your investing. Why are you actually investing? What is the long-term goal? Do you have a solid plan around this before you start investing? Do you have your family sorted out before you start investing? Do you have your life insurance before you start investing? These are the things and the questions to ask yourself. So go into investing with a plan for what you wish to achieve with your money and understand the fundamentals of investing before you ever start. If you want me to elaborate on any of these points, just let me know by leaving a comment down below. Let me know which of these. Have you done all of these before you start investing? Let me know. And if you have any other video suggestions, please let me know and I'll get those done for you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.